Okay, so we all knew the BLFC pizza was bad, but, furries, they always manage to take it to the next level, and they've done it again. Also, amongst all the fake drama coming from the States about furry litter boxes in school, this Muppet has doubled down and gone to town with this rather bizarre article he's put out. It just beggars belief. Alright folks, thank you very much for tuning in. It is your brother from another mother, Shrapnel Varga, here to bring you some of the weirdest stuff I've seen on the internet today. And let me tell you, this is pretty bizarre, even for the furry fandom. So, first up, you all may be familiar with the BLFC pizza drama, where a bunch of furries did some unspeakable acts to a pizza and then left it outside their room. And there was conflicting stories about whether they put it out, or whether it was just a photo stunt, or whether it was just furry drama blowing up. But it seems that furries have decided they are going to outdo that with an incident. Well, I say an incident, it's more of this is definitely a photo prank. This isn't something that's really caused the issue. But at Sin City Murcon, with a name like that, it's going to happen there. 33 furries decided they were going to jizz in a bong. Now, I ain't gonna judge what you guys want to do with your own equipment, and clearly this wasn't something that caused distress to the public at large, because you're not gonna leave a bong outside your hotel room, but this is definitely up there on the wilder meter. I mean, 33 guys jizzed in a bong. I mean, for a start, that's just a bit wild, but then they throw up this picture of, and this is the annoying part, it's a really cute fursuit. Holding up said jizz bong. I mean, can you imagine the effort that went into that in the first place? But then, can you imagine if they actually used that? I mean, the bubbling and come on, guys, come on, seriously? And this was clearly done as a prank. This isn't, some major thing that someone discovered or anything like that. This is just, a bunch of furries having a laugh. But 33 of you in. Someone who was there, let me know. Drop in the comments below. Did you guys use it afterwards? I mean, did you bubble? God, I need to. I mean, it's. Come on, dudes. Let me know. 33 of them in one. Come on. Anyway, enough weirdness from SCMC side. Let's have a look at the main reason that I'm doing this episode, and that is the doubling down of Republican conservative media in the States over the whole furry panic. Now, if you ain't familiar, the first incident involved a Kentucky high school that was being invaded by furries, and I did do a video on that. There is a link in description below, and hopefully I'll figure out how to do one of these card things up here. But then it moved on to litter boxes in the schools at a Massachusetts high school, which, as we all know, was a bunch of horse dooey. It was just, some mother was worried about some rumor, so she called her representative, and the representative wasted valuable taxpayer money on looking into something that wasn't happening. Well, it seems rather than, dropping the embarrassing subject as just rumor and just letting it slide under the carpet. No. Republican media, No. Conservative media in the States has decided they are going to double down on it and push an article, 14 ways to identify this behavior, as if somehow furries are some sort of mental disorder. And the Republican pundit at the head of this, furry panic and them losing their mind is a guy called Kevin Miller, who somehow managed to get an entire show dedicated to himself and named after himself. But he has done an entire article on furries. And like I said, he's titled it 14 Ways to Identify This Behavior. But I'm just looking at this article, and it's 14 random things you found about furries on the internet. Because the first one on this list is, oh my god, furries have fur heads. I shit you not, the first point on his article is him saying that some furries have fursuit heads. Oh my god, Oh my, stop the presses, please, everyone. This is breaking news. Furries have fursuits. Oh my god. I mean, what kind of jokes? And he's put a picture of a furry in a fur head, and it's like, bruh, get a grip. Everyone who has encountered furries know that fursuits exist. It's not some mythical thing that, I mean, to you may have never heard of it, but most people have. But my favourite part about this is he says it's to refer to their spirit animal. Now, cultural appropriation thoughts aside, I don't think it's to do with spirit animals. Last time I checked, it's just a representation of their personas. I mean, some people may see it as their spirit animals, but for the most part, it's just them, but fluffy. I mean, seriously, what is this guy smoking to be coming up with this? I mean, the next one blows my mind. I mean, his next point is that fursuits hide gender. I mean, fursuits are a great way of hiding your gender if you want to, but that is not the purpose of a fursuit. You know, my fursuit is not here to hide my gender or hide my identity in that fact, because you go on my Twitter anyway like that, you see plenty of photos of me without my fursuit. Like many others, my fursuit is literally just a furry representation of my character, of me, but fluffy. It has nothing to do with hiding my gender. It could hide someone's gender, but that is not the point. That is not the point of a fursuit. And the fact that you bring this up, the fact that you're like, oh my god, it hides their gender, as if that's somehow a bad thing, is kind of telling of some other thoughts you may be having. Up next is we have Furry Gatherings, and he goes on to say that he does not think there's any furry gatherings in Idaho, but oh my god, furries have gatherings. What are we gonna do? The furries are plotting against us. They're building armies somewhere and they're gathering in their forces. They're going to come and they're gonna convert us all to being furries. Are you hearing yourself, dudes? I mean, like, why is Furry Gatherings a behaviour of furries? I mean, I'm pretty sure once you start having a gathering, it's not a behaviour of a furry, it's just a group of furries. And second, why is that a bad thing? Why is it wrong for furries to get together and chill out with each other? Next up, he goes on about how furries communicate silently. I mean, oh no. We know how to do the mind reading. I'm in your brain right now, communicating silently with you. Become a furry. Give in to your fluffy temptations. Because somehow being able to communicate without saying anything is a trait of furries. And then he goes on to say they have friends. I mean, oh my god, people have friends. Oh noes. The furries, they're the only ones with friends, apparently. And he throws up a picture of Uncle Kage for this. I mean, seriously? Uncle Kage is more than just a friend to a lot of furries. He is a father figure to so much of the fandom. It's not just friendship when it comes to Uncle Kage. And it's like, he's saying that somehow furries have friends, like it's somehow a crime to be a friend with a furry. Now, I know several people I work with watch my YouTube channel. Several of them aren't even furries. They just met me in the office and subscribed one day. I'm like, whoa. So apparently it's now illegal for you to be my friends. Did you guys not know that? And you can tell his points are getting wilder and stupider now, because the next point wasn't really a behaviour of furries like he originally put in his title, but it's a statement. It's an invasion! We're having a furry invasion now. Apparently furries are invading. And that is an entire point in his article. And of course there's a picture to go with it. Because furries are here to invade your places and steal your precious bodily fluids, clearly. And I'm not entirely sure where he's going with the next point in his article, because apparently it's furries have more friends. I mean, like, haven't we covered this already with a picture of Uncle Kage saying there's furries with friends? What's going on here? Come on, dude, reach out to me. Tell me, what was the point in this point in your article? I mean, and the next one is even more ridiculous. Like, what would you do if you saw this walking down the street? Well, I'd walk up and I'd be like, hug. You know, give hug. I mean, seriously, he's like, what would you do if you saw a fursuiter in the street? Most people, and this is my experience being a fursuiter who goes on the streets quite often, most people, when they see a fursuiter on the street, they come over and they're like, can we get a photograph? I'm not joking, it's like 90% of people's reaction is to get a photograph, unlike most of the other 10% is just a stare in confusion, like, huh? But, you know, I've never had a bad reaction to being out in fursuit in my life. No one's ever given me stick for it. Most people just want a photo. So, in answer to your question, Mr. Kevin Miller, most people will just want a photo when they see a fursuiter out in public. And then we're going to hit the Furry Cruise. Apparently, it is a behavior of furries to go on furry cruises. I mean, when did this happen? I've not been on a furry cruise. I want to go on a furry cruise. Someone please buy me a ticket for this furry cruise that I keep missing out on. I mean, he mentions Anthrocon in Pittsburgh, but that's not a furry cruise, that's a furry convention. There's a difference. I mean, the nearest I've come to a furry cruise is the RBW boat party in London, and that was like 10 years ago. I've been missing out on my cruise. This isn't fair. I want to speak to my manager. And then he goes on to highlight a fursuiter who goes to hospitals to entertain children who are sick and dying in fursuit. He's like, oh noes, they go, think of the children's. Oh my god, what's going on here? There's these furries, it's a behavior of being a furry to go into a hospital and entertain dying kids. Will somebody think of the children? Like, but do you hear? So this has completely gone off the topic of 14 behaviors to identify furries and has gone completely onto the subject of wild furry panic and rhetoric. I mean, seriously, dude, this is pathetic. This isn't journalism. This what is it? This is crap. Because the next point is that furries have money and they show a fursuiter holding up a $10 bill. And apparently it is a behavior of being a furry to have money. I mean, there are some suspiciously wealthy furries out there who have more money than sense and buy 50 grand fursuits. Yeah, I'll give you that. There are some wealthy furries out there. But it is not a behavior of furries to have money. And then he's like, is he gonna buy food with this $10 or something else? Like, oh my god, he bought some art with it. That guarantee he either bought food with it or he bought some art with it. So, you know, question time over, panic over, go home. We know what he did with the money. And apparently wearing a partial fursuit, this is the next point he put down, wearing a partial fursuit is to keep some of your humanity. I mean, nah, but wearing a partial fursuit is because it's easier than wearing a full suit. Or maybe it's because that's all the furry in question owns. I don't even know where he's going with this point. It's like, so wearing a partial is somehow more acceptable than wearing a full suit? Or, you know, less acceptable than just wearing... I don't know. He's going somewhere with it, but I don't have a clue. That's all the points that he put on the article. But then he goes on to, you know, throw in some extra little rhetoric just for good measure. And he says, one parent wrote us. I mean, would it really have hurt for those 3 extra keystrokes to put one parent wrote to us? You know, one parent wrote us because bad grammar is apparently a thing amongst pundits in America. To say that school boards were having trouble stopping furries and that her local school had a furry club. And there was even one person who identified as a My Little Pony character and they had a pony club. Because Lord help us when the Republican pundits find out about the pony fandom. I mean, they're gonna have a shit fit. Although we all know they're probably secretly bronies in the first place. I mean, come on, there's a lot of right-wing bronies out there. But seriously, the whole tail end of this article is just rhetoric and then him asking, if you know furries in your school, please write in and give your opinion because we want to spread the furry panic. And naturally, furries lapped this up. I mean, you go on Twitter, I'll throw some Twitter screenshots up here. There are furries laughing their ass off. I mean, Dogpatch Press, they just responded with, I think it was like a big chungus or something. They just laughed. The whole furry fandom is laughing their ass off. I mean, there seems to be some sort of war going on right now between Republican pundits having their furry panic and their furry fandom just laughing their ass off. And Kevin Miller decided he was going to issue a response, and I haven't gone through that yet. To be honest, I can't be arsed going through that because it's probably just more gibberish. I mean, he couldn't even stick to 14 behavioural points about furries. He had to go off wondering about bloody, they have friends. I hope you guys found this video informative, if not entertaining as all hell, because to be honest, I was reading this article and I was laughing my ass off the whole way through. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Swing by my Patreon. You'll be seeing my patrons appearing on screen right now. These most excellent dudes are supporting me in making these videos for you guys, bringing you the latest of wild and wacky furry stuff and highlighting the most amazing points about the fandom. The next video I plan on producing, unless something happens in the next few days that completely derails me again, is a video where I look at what excellent art you can get from furries for, just £5. I went around and I commissioned a whole bunch of furries, and it is some absolutely stunning work. So, tune in for that. Also, swing by my Discord, say hello to the dudes. Come join and, just hang out with the dudes. I mean, there's some most excellent dudes in the Discord, and I absolutely love talking to you guys. You guys are the reason I do this. So thank you very much for all of you guys. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you guys have an amazing day and an excellent week, and I will see you guys in the next video, okay? Take care, ta-ra.